LA This Week. Deputy Chief Regina Scott becomes the highest-ranking black female in LAPD's history. The story next.
I'm Anna Marcos. Get a look at the 4 artists who will be honoring life, family, and immigrants in new murals going up at the Plaza Village. More on that coming up.
I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, how you can use your kitchen scraps or yard trimmings for home composting.
Hey everybody, welcome to LA This Week. I'm your host, Yana Kay. We've got a lot of great stories for you, so let's get right to it. History is made as the LAPD's first black female deputy chief is introduced. Gil Reyes has more from the celebration in Exposition Park.
A party happening at the California African American Museum for new LAPD Deputy Chief Regina Scott. Her promotion to Deputy Chief makes her the highest-ranking black woman in LAPD history.
I feel honored. I feel proud. I feel like there's a lot of responsibility, a great responsibility comes with this position. But I also feel sad that, I'm titled as the first African American and as a female. I would just love to be the Deputy Chief.
Deputy Chief Scott takes over as head of the Central Bureau, the LAPD's most racially diverse territory. LAPD Chief Michael Moore says gaining the trust of communities of color, diversifying the force, and boosting opportunities for women are top priorities, so promoting Scott was a no-brainer.
No one smarter, no one more tenacious, but coupled with a concern for people, a true compassion for not just the people that she serves in a community, but she brings the same level of commitment to her that she has for her family, to the rank and file.
Scott, a grandmother and Army veteran, has spent 31 years on the force. She's risen through the ranks at a time when black female officers were often overlooked for top-level promotions. But Mayor Eric Garcetti says that ends now.
While this is the first, I promise you it will not be the last. When you open a door, that door, now that you've pushed it open, is never shutting.
Scott has a message for African American females out there.
They can dream, that they can be anything that they want, set a path, set a goal, and don't stop until they get there.
Scott's promotion to deputy chief comes nearly a century after Georgia Ann Robinson became the first black female LAPD officer, way back in 1919. Cannabis business owners are finishing their paperwork to meet the all-important filing deadline. Another round of cannabis business applications are underway. And as Gil Reyes reports, a big crowd gathered in SYLMAR in preparation.
I was confused when I saw the number of attendants. I wanted to make sure we were clear. We're not giving away cannabis tonight.
Marijuana business owners packing the house in SYLMAR, learning more about Phase 2 of LA City's cannabis licensing program. While Phase 1 dealt with applications for marijuana retailers, Phase 2 is mainly for manufacturers operating before 2016. Phase 2 also gives application priority to minorities and other victims of the war on pot. That's right, first dibs for applicants who've either been convicted of marijuana crimes or live in neighborhoods disproportionately affected by pot-related arrests. But they'll need proof.
For residency, it can be anything from old utility bills to declarations from people you live with, leases. It can be school records to show that you were in that district and that's where you would have lived.
The city's Department of Cannabis Regulation admits licensing has been slow due to staff shortages. Phase 2 applications, again, mainly for manufacturers and suppliers, continues through September 14th.
Applications will be accepted for 30 business days. As long as the application is submitted during the open application filing period, it will get processed. So if you don't get an answer during the 30 days that the application filing period is open, don't worry. There are probably Phase 1 applicants in this room that have been waiting months and months and months for us to get back to them.
Learn more at cannabis.lacity.org. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The Department of Cannabis Regulation says its staff has now grown to 10 people. The agency hopes the boost will help make the application process faster. LA has been hit hard by the e-scooter ride sharing trend, but Councilmember Paul Koretz is working on a proposed city law to bring scooter rides to a screeching halt. Anna Marcos takes a look and takes a ride of sorts.
Companies like the one promoting the Bird e-scooter make it so easy, which is why you're seeing more and more Angelenos doing this on streets and on sidewalks.
Actually, this is my first time, and it's his first time too. It's fun, but it is kind of dangerous.
Download the Bird app, and with just a few taps on your phone, you can find an e-scooter near you. And soon you're motoring down the street or sidewalk in this two-wheeled wonder, like I tried to do. And yes, I definitely made things a little dangerous.
And then the brakes to your left.
Boy, you know, I've never seen such a popular nuisance. I've used them. I enjoy them. I think they can make a big contribution to urban mobility, but I also think they need to be regulated.
Councilmember Paul Koretz is working to do just that. As e-scooters and ride-sharing operations like Bird take over streets and sidewalks, Koretz has introduced a proposal to ban them until the city can come up with ways to regulate them.
I would argue that they still don't work because they violate state and local law and they're not all that safe.
For one thing, Koretz says, most riders don't wear helmets.
Maybe I've seen 1,000, let's say. So I've seen one helmet. Violation of the helmet law, almost 100%. Mostly they're on sidewalks, which is illegal. It's also illegal to ride an electric scooter on a commercial street that's posted over 25 miles an hour.
So there's no real place for them.
I mean, there really isn't.
I think it's the responsibility of the individual riding the scooter to be careful, follow the law, and not be a you-know-what about it. And
But you're not following the law. You don't have a helmet on.
Yeah, that's true.
So how big of a danger are they? We asked residents and often many of the riders themselves.
I mean, I think they are, but they're fun. Cars are dangerous too.
No, I do not like motorized things riding on the sidewalk. That's not cool at all. That's like legal?
No, it's not legal.
I know,
But
that
they do it.
sucks.
But what about the whole it's a green mode of transportation thing?
Most of the people I see are just looking at them saying, oh, that looks like fun, I'll take one. So I don't think you're greening up anything. You're just giving people an opportunity to go for a joyride.
This is something that people are using and like using, so it should be part of the transportation mix.
But these e-scooter rides may not be part of that transportation mix here in LA much longer if the city turns the proposed ban into law.
Councilmember Koretz says he hopes to see the proposal go through City Council committee and get written into law in the next month or two. Well, next time you call 311, you'll be happy to know that hold times to talk to a real person have been cut in half, getting the info you need faster and easier.
Thank you for calling 311. My name is Gina. How can I help you?
Well, My LA 311 is the overall service that we provide for those non-emergency services.
We provide information regarding anything from who's your council representative, your local police department, fire department, and also we take service requests such as bulky item pickup and building inspections.
And we also have the My LA 311 mobile app, and we have a web page that we also use so that citizens can do self-service.
We were able to dramatically cut our wait time down to averaging 2 to 3 minutes by providing ongoing training, refresher training, and changing our processes based on the feedback provided by the communication information representatives.
And all those things combined have really helped to decrease the wait times and improve the level of service that we can provide.
This is one call to City Hall, and that the employees are here well trained and experienced to handle their calls. and be able to provide excellent customer service.
I feel like I'm doing community service by participating in this, and I think all of our agents feel that way too. So as a team, I think we feel really good that we're able to help people and provide a positive image of the city of Los Angeles.
Download the app for even faster service. Well, we're all familiar with recycling, right? But have you ever tried composting? Well, Rasha Goel has more on how we can help improve our environment and save the city money at the same time.
It's called composting, an easy way to turn your fruit scraps, vegetable peels, and yard trimmings into soil conditioner. And here's why you should be doing it.
It helps combat climate change and reduce the amount of carbon material that's going to landfills, which causes, of course, creates methane gas.
This was part of the information Steve Casares from the Bureau of Sanitation shared at a workshop that was recently held by the city's Department of Public Works.
The green material is a nitrogen-based material. It's going to be mostly the kitchen waste material. It's going to be like your eggshells, the food scraps that you're creating, coffee grounds, that kind of stuff. The brown material is going to be carbon material. It's going to be paper, cardboard, leaves, branches, sawdust, stuff that's dry.
Things we cannot compost are meat, fatty food, bones, dog or cat feces, diseased plants, and treated wood. You don't have to live in a single-family house for home composting. In fact, if you live in an apartment, condo, or even from your workspace, you can still participate in the process.
One of the ways they can do this via vermicomposting, which is utilizing worms to eat the green waste that they create at their apartment or condo.
Attendees say they found the workshop to be very helpful.
I didn't know much about worms before, so I thought that was just great. I didn't know that they were so impactful. The workshop was easy to understand, it was well presented, and I think everybody should take it.
And one more tip.
Do not utilize composting plastics. They can't be composted in your bin. They can't be composted at our facilities. They're actually a very poor form of plastic that can't be recycled.
There are also various options for bins. You can make one yourself, purchase at a store, or get one through the city.
You take the landscaping material, you put it in there, you can turn it into compost between 4 and 6 months. We subsidize the cost of these materials. Usually they retail between $60 and $80 depending on where you go to. We offer for $20 because we really want the constituents in the city to compost and be part of the solution.
There's so much to learn. More free workshops will be held at various locations. For more information, you can call 1-800-773-2489 or log on to lacitysand.org/compost workshops. A little something we can all do to help save our planet.
And remember, you can use compost as mulch, soil conditioner, or in potting mix. Well, when it comes to internet speeds, 4G is pretty fast, right? Well, wait until we get up to 5G. The technology will be here sooner than you think.
So the really interesting part about 5G is it's going to affect every single person in the city of Los Angeles. It's going to make the internet more equitable, it's going to make it faster, it's going to make it easier to do things we cannot even yet imagine.
The expectation is that 5G will, there will be about 100 times more connected devices. The data rate for end users is going to be at least 100 times. The latency through the network is going to be improved at least 5 times. The battery life is going to be improved by at least 10 times.
So the 5th generation is not just iterative, it's transformative. So the way that we think about old school dial-up and today is the way we're going to think about today and tomorrow with 5th generation.
The first area is called enhanced mobile broadband. The second area is going to be machine-to-machine type communications. And then the third type of applications is called ultra-reliable, low-latency applications.
The other thing is a lot of people realize that a big aspect of 5G is going to be around entertainment. Streaming video, gaming, all kinds of great new fun things to do online, virtual reality. And as part of that, here with Hollywood at the center, we know that we'll be building up our entertainment industry as well.
What we're doing out here, we're installing small cells. We call them small cells. Basically, we're going to install these small cells on poles.
But to get to the streetlight, we're pulling electricity from the Department of Water and Power. We're pulling cable through the Department of Street Services. It connects into transportation, so LA Department of Transportation is part of it. The Bureau of Engineering, Rec and Parks. Almost every city department touches in some way some aspect of this, whether they're going to be part of building it, part of operating it, or part of consuming the 5G. And so all of this has made a really interesting connectivity and digital inclusion working group. About 14 different city departments and elected officials participate.
In the future, it's going to be thousands of these units all over the city.
So we're going to be one of the first cities that is going to be 5G. And it's important for two reasons. One is right now the way that people can access the internet at home isn't equitable. It's been built based on what companies wanted to do. Now with fifth generation, the city is working with companies to make sure that that next generation of internet is equitable across the city. So it'll be just as easy to get online, just as reliable wherever you are in the city, no matter whether you're in a high-income area or a low-income area. And the next thing that's really interesting about having LA as an early city is that the kinds of businesses that are going to create completely new kinds of experiences online will be building in 5G. And if we don't have 5G in LA, they won't be building it here. We want those new businesses to be part of our tech sector and part of our global connection to the world. So we want the 5G companies to incubate and start here in Los Angeles. For LA, 5G means equity, economic growth, education, and entertainment.
LA is one of a handful of cities to roll out the technology starting as early as this year. La Plaza de Cultura y Artes is known as a historical monument in LA. It's also about to become the center of a multicultural community as the new La Plaza Village goes up. Anna Marcos introduces us to some of the muralists who will make the project truly unique.
This new development going up near Olvera Street will boost housing and economic development in downtown LA. La Plaza Village will put hundreds of units on the market, many at affordable rates, and provide thousands of square feet of retail space, all with a Latino twist.
Because we look at this as the Latino center of Los Angeles, this is where the city was first created. So the project has been designed in a Mexican motif, if you will, with very bright, vivid colors.
But La Plaza Village is also about art, culture, and the people. Local leaders announced the 4 Latino muralists who will paint the art on its walls. Themes will focus on immigrants, family, and Latino contributions to LA. Or how about La Reina de Los Angeles, Our Lady, the Queen of Angels, which was LA's founding name.
I chose to make a more modern, secular version of that because, after all, this is the city of the Our Lady, Queen of the Angels. So she seemed appropriate, she seemed aspirational, she's young, she's strong.
This artist's immigrant father once collected cardboard for a living. His mother was a farm worker. A generation later, he has become an artist and college professor, so he's celebrating immigrants and family.
And that's what I wanted to represent, people who want to get ahead in this country. My parents were immigrants, you know, they made a big sacrifice.
The 4 murals will be spaced along the outside walls of the complex so they are visible and everyone, residents, pedestrians, and motorists alike, can see them.
My father was best known as a labor leader, but his vision was much larger. He understood that after a long, hard day's work, people come home to a whole different set of problems. The lack of access to affordable housing, educational opportunities, access and to the political and civic affairs of their communities.
And it appears future residents of La Plaza Village will get all of the above. The project is set to open in early 2019.
20% of the 355 apartments going up will be affordable units. Well, when you think of adopting a pet, a dog or cat probably comes to mind. But have you ever thought of adopting a chicken? Well, many folks have, and they came out to a workshop recently put on by the city to learn how they can adopt and raise one.
Yep, this is really happening. People from all over LA are adopting chickens as pets.
And I think they're just wonderful little creatures and a lot of fun.
The Department of Animal Services hosted a seminar about chicken adoption and care. The seminar took place at the East Valley Shelter in Van Nuys and was attended by over 200 people.
A lot of people don't know that you can keep these kind of pets as indoor pets. They don't make that much of a mess, and even a rooster that's kept indoors probably makes less noise than a parrot would, I would imagine.
A couple of years ago, I met a rooster named Checkers who was incredibly friendly, and since then I've started handling every chicken that comes in here. Very few of the staff and volunteers prioritizes chickens, so I've kind of made it my little niche here at East Valley.
While the average cost of owning a dog or a cat can run in excess of $1,200 a year, owning a chicken as a pet can be half the cost and can provide the owners with a nice little bonus: the ability to know exactly where their eggs are coming from.
There's a general effort to get us closer to back to nature and to being self-sufficient and eating locally. And, this is part of that effort for my wife and I, is to be more self-sufficient for basic necessities.
Since chickens lay the majority of their eggs during the first 2 years, it doesn't mean their lives are less meaningful to these attendees.
You keep taking care of it. It's like any other animal. I mean, a cat doesn't give you food. A dog doesn't give you food, unless you're in other countries. But, no, they're companion. And so you just love and take care of them.
So perhaps it's time to think about the chicken as not just a super tasty meal, because we all know they are. But it's time to think of them as a great addition to the family.
LA City animal shelters also have rabbits, reptiles, and rodents in need of homes. For more, visit laanimalservices.com. Proposition 10 gets support from local leaders. Downtown's Food Truck Tuesdays are becoming a big hit, and you'll soon be able to tour the Hollyhock House without ever leaving your home. All these stories in City Beat. LA City Council member Marquise Harris Dawson, advocacy groups, and other state and city officials gathered at Leimert Park Village to announce their support for Proposition 10, the Affordable Housing Act, which would expand local jurisdictions' ability to enact rent control ordinances statewide. Opponents say Prop 10 would make the housing shortage even worse by discouraging new construction. But Harris Dawson says Prop 10 will go a long way to help the city's housing crisis.
This proposition is very, very important because it repeals a law that stops cities and communities all over the state from doing what they need to do to care for and to manage the housing situation in their town.
Food truck mania is alive and well in the City of Angels. The trend of buying your hot food at the curb keeps growing. In one part of downtown LA, Food Truck Tuesdays have become a regular part of the work week. Food Truck Tuesdays in downtown LA provide a great midweek treat for office workers, tourists, and others in this part of downtown LA as food trucks converge on Grand Park.
I mean, you get 3 or 4 trucks, 3 or 4 days that we're here. I can't think of anything better, can you?
The Los Angeles Department of Cultural Affairs announced that an online virtual reality tour of the Hollyhock House at Barnsdall Art Park is set to debut this fall. The City Council approved $133,000 in funding last year to produce the online virtual reality tour of the Frank Lloyd Wright designed home in East Hollywood, which was built before the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. Because it is a National Historic Landmark, it cannot be altered to increase accessibility. Mayor Eric Garcetti said everyone should be able to experience LA's cultural landmarks, adding that Hollyhock House is a remarkable piece of architecture and a virtual reality will allow people with disabilities and the elderly to explore a location with deep history in our city. Dodger slugger Yasiel Puig looks forward to LA's newest ballpark for underserved kids. Gil Reyes has more on the team effort from South LA.
Fun-loving Dodgers outfielder Yasiel Puig helps break ground on the latest Dodgers DREAMFIELD. These are youth ballparks built or refurbished in underserved neighborhoods. Puig says he wished he had one while growing up poor in Cuba.
I come here to the United States to play baseball and be here in Los Angeles and see every day the community and the fans go every night to the stadium and fool the stadium and show my name and help my team to win. That's the reason I opened my charity foundation to help kids.
Puig's Youth Sports Foundation, as well as the LA Dodgers Foundation, are pitching in to make this happen. The field is being built at Alguin Sutton Rec Center in South Los Angeles, an alternative to gang life, says mom Karina Lundes.
Especially in the neighborhood where we live, we need that. You know, there's a lot of other things going on, so this kind of focuses them in the actual community playing, and so I'm just very happy for it.
This will be the 50th Dodgers Dreamfield, the second one at the Rec Center. It's set to open in September.
The Dodgers have just been such a wonderful partner to us, and it's just, we're so grateful to everything that that your organization has done.
And all the time you need something from me, I'm going to be here too. Hey, kids, let's go play baseball.
In South Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Sutton Rec Center will now have 2 Dodger Dreamfields. The first was established at Rec Center back in 2003. LA Fleet Week rolls into town, and so does the Navy Film Festival. Celebrate a Made in LA Arts and Music Festival, and if you're a vegan, you won't want to miss this street fair. All this in this week's Things to Do.
We're at Vegan Street Fair!
Vegan Street Fair returns to Los Angeles for 2018 with a plethora of vegan-friendly eats and vendors, including Evolution Burger, Charlie's Brownies, and much more. The fair will include games, live entertainment, karaoke, and more vegan fun than you'll know what to do with. The fair takes place at the Federal Bar in North Hollywood on September 1st through the 2nd. On Saturday the 1st, you must be 21 or over to enter, while the fair will be open to all ages on Sunday. The fair runs from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. both days. The Federal Bar is located at 5303 Lankershim Boulevard in North Hollywood. Featuring black and white to modern era films, LA Fleet Week 2018, presented by Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime Video, will include a Labor Day weekend Navy Film Festival at the iconic Warner Grand Theater in downtown San Pedro. The festival will celebrate the century-long relationship between the U.S. Navy and the world-renowned film industry that has brought military life, storylines, and battle realities to the big screen since 1918. The Film Fest begins September 1st at 4 p.m. at Warner Grand Theater in San Pedro. Golden Road Brewing presents Made in LA, a 2-day music and arts festival celebrating Los Angeles art and culture. Join Golden Road for great performances, rows of food trucks, art installations, and vendors. Festival runs September 1st through the 3rd from 5 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. at Golden Road Brewing in Silver Lake. And that's a look at some things to do. The city of LA is gearing up for Independence Day, Mexican Independence Day, that is. Ana Marcos has more on what's in store for this year.
As far as holidays go, El Grito is a big one for LA's Mexican-American community, and this year it promises to grow bigger than ever. El Grito celebrates Mexico's independence in 1810.
Historically, El Grito was this cry for independence amongst ordinary people who did the extraordinary in fighting and achieving their independence.
And in that spirit of independence, who says the Mona Lisa can't wear a sombrero? Councilmember Monica Rodriguez walks by her favorite Pacoima mural, painted by an artist whose work will appear at this year's El Grito. Rodriguez will host this year's Big Bash, and she promises some new experiences at the party.
This year is unique because we've actually extended the celebration into Grand Park as well. We are going to have food trucks. We have Molcajete Dominguero, which is a marketplace of local artisans.
And there's more. The councilwoman also promises someone special will be taking the stage.
We want to encourage everyone to come out early to get a good spot for the performances, because I'm not prepared to actually share at this moment in time who we've secured, but it's going to be big.
The festival is on track to be as colorful as ever and more. And it's free.
For more information, visit elgritola2018.eventbrite.com. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitybview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.